Hey guys, so today I'm going to be comparing the new Huda Beauty Faux Filter Foundation with the new Fenty Beauty Pro Filter Foundation. Before people really started to compare them, I didn't really see anything comparable about these two foundations. I think they are both very, very different, but I know that they are both hype. They both have a large shade range, which is a really big key point in this, as well as, faux filter, pro filter. I have done a full review of both of these foundations and I stand by what I said in both of those 100%. I know that I've gotten a lot of not great feedback about my review on this foundation, but I don't take any of it back. I think that everything I said in the Fenty review, a lot of people did point out that I didn't use the primer and I didn't use the applicator that it was supposed to be used with, but I don't think that for a foundation to work you should have the primer and the specific applicator that the brand makes. That being said, I know that in my Huda review I did use the primer and the applicator that this brand makes to go with it. And with that, I did get this in PR and I did buy this myself, although I did buy another shade of this so I would match better. It is no secret that I don't really like primer and I wouldn't really use primer in my day-to-day life, but when it's provided to me, I will try it per review. I did like the Huda Beauty primer because it wasn't really like a normal primer. It didn't have that thick silicone feel and it also didn't feel like a barrier. It just felt like a moisturizer. And since I wouldn't normally use a primer, that is why I only did it on half of my face. And that goes the same for the Huda Beauty brush. If it's provided to me, I will use it. And just because I wouldn't personally normally buy something doesn't mean that I can't like it if I try it. So that being said, I'm going to use both of these foundations today using a primer, the same primer, and the same application method. I have tried this one since with a beauty blender and I got the same results, which was basically dry. So overall I have, I would say, relatively clear skin. I don't really have a lot of texture. I have dry to normal skin. I don't have major dry spots and I don't have major acne. I get a couple breakouts here and there, but nothing substantial. I'm generally pretty red, especially around right here. Basically, I'm red all over. It's just how it is for me. So in this video, I'm going to compare the coverage, how it looks on my skin, the finish, and all that kind of stuff. I figure that we will start at the bottles. This one obviously square. This one has more of like a squarish oval. This packaging is plastic. This one is glass. The Huda foundation is $40. This is $34. This has 1.18 ounces and this has 1.08 ounces. So this one has a tiny bit more, but it's also more expensive in a plastic bottle. This is cheaper in a glass bottle with almost as much product. I figure I will start with primer, which again, I normally wouldn't do, but I will do because that's what everyone always calls out. So we'll do it. I'm going to be using the Too Faced Primed and Peachy Primer. I don't have a lot of solid primers. If I feel the need to prime my skin sometimes, I have more of a moisturized primer, but today I will use a actual primer, which is why it's in a little sample. I'm just gonna put it, and I'm gonna put this more where dry spots would go on my skin, which is about like right here. I had already moisturized my face. I think you could see I had that like a little bit of a shine on before, and I will prime over the little bit of breakouts right here. Alright, so my face has been primed, and today I'm going to be using a beauty blender. I used a brush for both of these original reviews, but today I'll use a beauty blender. And I'm going to start off with the Fenty Beauty Foundation, so I'm going to shake this as it says to. I'm going to try not to get this on my white hoodie. So I'm going to do like the same amount, so I'm going to do 1 and 2. This foundation is very, very liquidy and very thin, which is why I feel like it clings to dry patches. When it's really thin and also matte, it gets all stuck in there. So I'm just going to basically blend this out. Now, right now my skin is a lot better. Now, I know this foundation is supposed to be a medium to high coverage, but I feel like it's more of like a really low medium just because I can totally see all of my freckles and my little bit of like scarring spots that are healing right now. So I originally thought when I just put this on that it was going to look a lot better, but then it dried and I'm still getting dryness around here, here, and right up here. I'm gonna show you guys that real quick. Here is a close-up of that. The dryness is still all coming up around here, right here, up here. Okay, so there is one layer of this. I feel like the shade does match me really, really well, and I do have to mix 2 of these right now. So that is how that looks. So now I'm going to do the Huda Beauty side, and I do have to mix these 2 shades. So I'm just gonna try to get like half of a pump from each one. I'll mix these, but here's how much I'm using from Huda. I'm just gonna dot this all over. This foundation is pretty thick. It doesn't quite have the consistency of, I would say, like Kat Von D, but it's definitely like a thick cream. So now I'm gonna use the other side of the Beauty Blender and blend this out. Overall, I totally know that not every foundation works for every skin type, but I do these reviews so that people with my similar skin can get an idea of what will work for them, maybe what won't, or for people that are having a hard time deciding like which one they want to get, and etc. I'm gonna wipe off my lips because I'm looking a little crazy here. So here is how that looks. I'll give you guys a close-up of the Huda Beauty side. I'm gonna stay this close up for a minute, and I'm gonna do another layer, so a second layer, which I normally wouldn't do, of Fenty, and we'll see if we can maybe build it up. I feel like the Huda Beauty is full coverage right off the bat. I forgot which side I used, so I'm just gonna use the bottom now. My camera keeps overheating when I'm trying to blend foundation. So now I'm gonna wait for it to dry. Now we're gonna go through. This is 1 layer, this is 2 layers. I still don't feel like this side has as full coverage as this side. And I also feel like I'm still seeing a bit of dryness right here, where here I'm not really. Same goes for like right here and right here. This side definitely does look a lot better with the second layer, but I still don't feel like it's as full coverage. So I swear my intention with this video was really not to just keep beating down the Fenty foundation, but to show you guys that I have tried my best to make this work on my skin, and I'm not just giving it a one and done and saying no, it doesn't work. I think it's a lot harder for really, really thin foundations to be 1, full coverage, and 2, smoothing, because it's so thin that it just kind of sinks into anything that's there, as opposed to when you have a thicker foundation, it's a lot easier to roll over any texture. End result, I would say that this looks a lot better at 2 layers. It still looks a little bit dry, but definitely better. So I would say that if you already got this foundation and for some reason you can't return it and you have sort of skin and dry skin, I would say try doing another layer to try to maybe thicken up the foundation a little bit so it's not clinging on to all that dryness. I also want to note that the stickiness of the Huda foundation is pretty much gone using this beauty blender. I know that I did comment on the stickiness of the Huda foundation in my review for it, but it's not nearly as sticky using a beauty blender. If the stickiness was bothering you, note that. And just looking at this right now, I would say I'm getting a tiny bit more creasing with the Huda foundation. Let's do another zoom in. I'm getting a little bit right here, or I'm not getting right here. I think in the end it just really depends on what you want. If you have, say, normal to oily skin and you want a thinner foundation, I would definitely recommend Fenty. If you have drier skin and want fuller coverage, I would say go with Huda. So I hope that this video was helpful for you guys that are debating on which one you want to get. They both have pros and cons, but I hope that this was at least a little bit useful. And that is all I have for you guys today. If this video was helpful or entertaining, please give it a like, and I hope to see you in my next video. Bye! Guys, so I was literally just taking off my foundation because I was gonna film some other stuff, and I wanted to show you these spots right here of where I put on the Fenty foundation. I just thought that it was a little strange. The Fenty foundation does set on the quicker side, so when I put it here and I blended out here first, I did blend out these dots last. Could be nothing, could be something, but I just wanted to show you guys because I was taking it off and I was like, oh, that's kind of strange to have like very specific dots of where I originally put the foundation, which I guess you wouldn't normally see because you don't usually take off the foundation right as you put it on. So yeah, okay, that's all. Just wanted to show you guys. And for reference, I don't have that on. Bye.